Let's start with historical context that, honestly, most people never even consider. For over 4 millennia, every major civilization has operated on debt-based monetary systems. From ancient Mesopotamian temple loans to modern central bank currency creation, money has always been borrowed into existence with interest attached. This system creates fundamental inequality by design. Those who control money creation, whether ancient priests or modern central bankers, extract value from everyone else through interest payments. Every dollar, euro, or yen in circulation represents debt that must be repaid with additional money that doesn't exist, creating permanent scarcity and competition. The consequences have been, well, pretty predictable cycles of expansion and contraction, wealth concentration among financial elites, and economic instability that periodically destroys entire civilizations. Yet this system persisted because alternatives didn't exist, until blockchain technology emerged. Pi Network represents the first viable challenge to debt-based money in human history. Instead of borrowing currency into existence, Picoin is earned through verified human contribution. Users mine by engaging with the network, validating their identity, and supporting ecosystem growth. This creates money backed by human effort, rather than institutional debt. So this model lines up with economic theories that put labor community engagement and real utility front and center, way ahead of, abstract financial instruments. What we're seeing is a shift from extractive economics, where value gets harvested from people who are actually productive, to something called generative economics, where value is created through, productive participation. But here's what most analysts tend to miss about this transition. It's actually a fundamental power shift from institutions to individuals. When folks can earn currency by contributing, rather than having to borrow from banks, it takes away the leverage that financial institutions have traditionally used to control economic behavior. As Pi Network and other contribution-based platforms pick up steam, we're starting to see two pretty distinct classes emerge. On one hand, you've got the prepared innovators who are all in on these decentralized models, and on the other, the unprepared elites who are still stuck relying on those old-school legacy systems. The innovators? Well, they include developers building out on blockchain infrastructure communities that are organizing around contribution-based economics, and individuals who've really positioned themselves for this new era of decentralized participation. These groups get it. They've recognized that when technology shifts, it opens up all sorts of new opportunities for the folks who are quick to adapt. Now, in contrast, a lot of traditional elites are just not ready for this transition. Their wealth and power mostly come from controlling debt-based systems, regulatory capture, and these really centralized information flows. They've poured tons of resources into keeping the old structures alive instead of, focusing on building new ones. That actually makes them pretty vulnerable when the paradigm shifts. Because when these contribution-based systems start offering better accessibility, more transparency, and actual utility, the traditional gatekeepers start to lose their relevance. Their regulatory inertia, basically their resistance to change, turns into a real liability when innovation is moving faster than institutions can keep up. But honestly, the clash here isn't just about technology, it's ideological too. Open source collaboration is challenging proprietary control, transparency is threatening opacity, participation is undermining exclusion. And Pi Network's rapid global growth? It really shows that the momentum is shifting toward the innovators who are embracing these principles. This whole dynamic, it's got plenty of historical precedent. Every major technological transition has created winners and losers, not based on how much wealth or institutional power someone already has, but on how fast they can adapt. Listen, if this analysis of power shifts between prepared innovators and unprepared elites is giving you new perspective on how technological transitions reshape economic hierarchies, then I need your help amplifying this revolutionary content. So, hit that like button again if you haven't already, share this video with 3 people in your network who need to understand economic paradigm shifts, and drop a comment below telling me, do you think contribution-based economics can truly challenge debt-based systems? I read every single comment, and honestly, I often feature the most insightful responses in my follow-up analysis. Several predictive indicators suggest that contribution-based models will continue gaining ground against debt-based alternatives. Increased adoption of decentralized applications in developing regions demonstrates that populations without access to traditional banking prefer direct participation over institutional intermediation. Regulatory frameworks are evolving to accommodate non-speculative crypto models as governments recognize that contribution-based systems create less systemic risk than debt-based speculation. Institutional interest in compliant, utility-driven blockchain platforms indicates that even traditional players recognize the advantages of verified participation. Growing demand for identity-verified digital ecosystems reflects user preference for trust and accountability over anonymous speculation. This trend favors platforms like Pi Network that prioritize verified human participation. But the most significant indicator is generational change. Younger populations who have experienced economic instability under debt-based systems are more willing to embrace contribution-based alternatives. They understand that earning currency through verified participation offers more security than borrowing into debt cycles. Pi Network's trajectory aligns with these trends. Its focus on community building, regulatory compliance, and infrastructure development positions it strategically for the emerging digital economy where, honestly, contribution matters more than speculation. I want to thank every member of the TJ Crypto World community for being part of this journey into economic paradigm shifts that could reshape human civilization. Your engagement, your thoughtful questions about monetary systems and power structures, your willingness to challenge 4,000 years of economic orthodoxy. It motivates me to keep analyzing these revolutionary developments that could liberate humanity from debt-based extraction. Pi Network's contribution-based model represents something unprecedented in human history, a viable alternative to debt-based money that rewards human effort rather than institutional control. Whether this transition succeeds in fundamentally restructuring global economics or faces resistance from entrenched interests, we're witnessing economic revolution in real time. If you want to continue exploring how blockchain technology challenges traditional power structures, check out my comprehensive analysis of central bank digital currencies control or liberation. I'll link it right here. It's a deep dive into how governments are responding to decentralized currency alternatives, and it perfectly complements today's paradigm shift analysis. Remember, the most significant changes in human civilization often appear impossible until they become inevitable. Pi Network demonstrates that money can be earned rather than borrowed, that power can be distributed rather than concentrated, and that economics can serve human flourishing rather than institutional extraction. Stay revolutionary, stay analytical, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll continue examining the technologies and movements that are reshaping the foundations of human society. Until then, this is TJ from TJ Crypto World, reminding you that understanding paradigm shifts before they complete gives you advantages that no amount of traditional wealth can provide. The next economic revolution is always one contribution away.